That's my process. Good morning. 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 Ooh, that was a good one. Hi, where is this finding you? Good morning to you, or wherever this may find you, whether you are listening today in your ears or you may be watching. We've added video into this show today, so it is good to see you or good to have you in the ears. Either way, it is technically April 1st. Which is April Fool's Day, and although I have no jokes to play on you today, I do have a funny story that I'll tell towards the end of today's episode. No, today we're going to talk about being severely hungover. But it doesn't have to do with the sense in which you typically think being hungover involves. It has nothing to do with alcohol. So that is on the horizon. Before we get anywhere and any further, I don't have any new comments on Spotify, Apple, or YouTube to report on, or any new DMs other than Josh and AB. They did send me messages about their first date experiences, which we will get to in tomorrow's episode. So that is something to look forward to. I want to know your wild first date or just dating stories. AB had said something pretty funny to me. She's out of Westchester about her husband and her first date was very non-traditional, also borderline scary. So that's on the horizon. I did get some voice notes from them, but I don't have any new updates from you, and that is something I'm asking of you. What is your name and what neighborhood do you listen to this show in? Please either DM me at the Tiff, 2Fs Potter like the wizard, with a voice note or text, or you can always comment below on whatever platform you are finding this on. It is a daily companion audio show rooted in Cincinnati, but it's made for wherever you are, and we have listeners all across the U.S. I don't think we've made it global yet, but we'll celebrate the moment that we do that. So nothing to report on that end. Nothing to report Cincinnati-wise on the news front. I did look at my weather app, and it was supposed to be rainy today, and then I woke up. We're in the This Morning sound booth headquarters, but on the other side of this door is my bedroom window, and I was like, the birds are up! It is green! It is nice. Haven't you noticed that? Now that the weather is a little bit warmer, everything's greener, the sky is a little bit more crisper in blue. The blossoms and the blooms of Alt Park and Eden Park are just starting to show their face. So it's a really exciting time. And my friend Erin, who owns the store Me Active, it's spelled MEAS, and it's on Vine Street. She had been posting on social this past week that she's closing the chapters and the doors on her original location and opening up a new space down the street. And there was something that she said in her video that resonated with me about spring and it being a really big time for growth and change. And not that that's a new concept, but it is new to me and it's something that I relate to. And so I am viewing April, and we're only a day into it, very differently this time around than I viewed it last year. But it is always a really special, special time. I have a soft spot for April. I have a soft spot for April, July, and then October, I think. I don't know why. I can't even give you a definition to that one. I also have a soft spot for May as well. Okay, I don't know why we're going down that road, but thanks for, buckling up and sitting in the passenger seat with me. What is going on with you? Where are you at? What are you thinking? What's top of mind? How are we feeling? What's on the horizon? What's going on in here and what's going on in here today? I've been trying to harness the power of the mind lately. And so that's something that's sitting with me. If that's something you want to test out over the next 24 to 48 hours, harnessing the power of thought, thinking. And it's not a new concept, but it is something that I have a newer relationship with. I keep saying to myself that I have one more paycheck left on my severance. And there are two ways for me to look at that. One is, I don't have defined income after April 15th. That's really scary. That's really sad. That's really But then the other one I've been playing with, I haven't quite committed, but I am gaslighting myself into believing girl, I have one paycheck left and then we're free. And then the world will just suddenly open its doors for me, right? I have one paycheck left to get through, and then whatever my life is coming to next is going to be on the other side of that. I don't know. This is a test subject. I'll let you know if it works. Okay, let's chit chat about this severe hangover. Again, has nothing to do with alcohol. In fact, my relationship with alcohol has changed in the last couple of months. I was diagnosed with ulcerative colitis last spring. And I'm in the process of still managing the symptoms of that and figuring it out. If you too have ulcerative colitis, I'm sure we could do another entire episode on that. But I won't get too deep into it. But I am trying to change eating patterns, sleeping patterns, alcohol patterns, and whatnot. So this has nothing to do with alcohol, but it does have everything to do with that feeling you get when you have finished a television show from start to finish. It's a hangover. It leaves a hole in your life, in your routine, in your emotions, in your chest. You might be thinking about the show. What show was that for you? Comment below. Send me a DM. Message me. What was that show for you that has left you like severely lost and hungover? I have a few of them. I think I watched Outlander season 1 maybe 6 or 7 times during the pandemic. I loved that show. That one stayed with me. There are some comedies like The Office, I think, or Parks and Rec, things like that. But the show most recently, for me, was Breaking Bad. I had never, ever seen it. And I think it was one of those shows that when it was popular, I tried to watch an episode or two, but my boyfriend and I started the show. It's one of his favorites. He's seen it a few times through, and he was like, you have to commit. You have to stay with it, Tiffany. We're watching this. And you know what? I give him a lot of credit because I don't think I would have watched that show without him because there are some, violent pieces to it, and I don't do well with violent TV. My brain likes joy, happiness, comedy and things of that nature. But it was a really well-rounded show. Character development on it was really just, you were rooting for these people. And the reason why I think TV is different now than when millennial kids were growing up is our parents would say, don't watch TV, you're gonna rot your brain out. Which I think is like the new version of social media. But TV is now very community-based. I often say this, if you don't know what to talk about with an awkward coworker, with your family even, or even on a first date, ask them what they're watching on TV. It is the biggest universal topic of conversation because everyone is watching it. It has become a part of our culture. It's a part of conversation. It's not just a distraction. It's like what we do with our time. It's different than when we were millennials growing up watching Disney and Nickelodeon. And people do it together in relationships, right? Like we created a bond through television. Oh my God, my light went out. What the heck? Something's always freaking dying on me in here. I know that this is going to go out again. I absolutely know it is. And when it does, I'm just going to have to keep pushing. I'm sorry. Yeah. I think it's just so universal. So the thing about this show, and for those that have seen Breaking Bad will know what I'm talking about. For those that haven't, I won't give away any spoilers because I do want you to be able to have that experience for yourself. But there are some common themes that I think relate to life, and those are the ones I want to get into. One of them is this myth that I think we use as humans that protect our ego, and that is something that eventually comes out in the show of Walter saying, I did this for us. And in reality, throughout, especially in the last seasons, in the last couple of episodes even, we realized that Walter really was doing this for himself. And I think that that's a common misconception in relationships and even friendships, that the ego ends up experiencing this like, well, I was doing this for us and I was doing this for us. And in reality, can you take responsibility and ownership that maybe you were doing this for yourself and it wasn't just entirely for your family? A piece of you, a part of you really liked doing that, this one thing. For him, it was for those that don't know, the baseline of Breaking Bad is this high school science teacher starts a meth business because he's very, very good at chemistry. Actually, he was a high school chemistry teacher, not science. Sorry, my bad. He's like one of the best chemistry teachers I guess now we know, in the world, and ends up making meth that's like the highest quality the world has ever seen, and he sells it. And he's just a high school chemistry teacher, and the reason why he started doing that, and you'll learn this in the very first episode, this isn't a spoiler or anything, is because he was diagnosed with cancer, and he was like, I need a way to fund my family for when I leave, and also to pay for these medical bills. So he teams up with this old high school student that was pretty much a delinquent during high school, and they start this meth business that ends up growing 5 seasons later into what it is. And throughout the whole show, he's like, I'm doing this for the family, right? That's how it started. But something happened during that show where he found out, actually, I'm pretty good at this. And he, how much of that was he doing for his family versus how much was he doing it for himself? Because you ask yourself, why doesn't he just leave? Why don't you just walk away? Why? Why am I not changing the thing that I shouldn't do anymore? And I think it's a piece of you really likes that one thing, and you're doing it for yourself. And that is a different type of internal conversation. That's a different type of ownership. So I liked that theme. They say that life is about your life is made up of a string of choices that you make. And I agree with that, but it was some ways yes, some ways no. But it was interesting to see it unfold in the show, because every choice that Jesse or Walter made led them down this and this and this path and this path and next and next and next, until the finale of the show put them where they were. And it is interesting about your choices. Again, I think that was a part of the first bullet point in the themes here that we're talking about in the show. It's just that you're responsible for your choices. And that was a concept that was cool to watch and then try and draw parallels back to life. I had a conversation with my brother Gregory earlier this year. We were talking about our mom. Our mom had made some poor choices when we were growing up that led to the family situation that we were in, which was pretty divided. And now we're kind of all coming back together. And, he had said something interesting, that her choices put us here, but my choices now have put me where I'm going. And I have taken full ownership of my choices in the life that I want to live. And I love my brother for that. We get into some pretty deep conversations, as you can tell from listening to this show, right? This is like a passion of mine, a strength and a skill that I love. Sometimes my friends might hate me for it. They're like, we don't want to go that deep, Tiff. I just wanted to bitch. Like, got it. Okay, cool. But, we're responsible for every choice that we make. Now, there are some choices that are made for us, right? Like when you're a kid and you're no longer spending time with your mother. Okay, well, you don't have any control over that. But in the future down the line, the choices that you make as a result of the things that happen to you are what define your life. And that's something that I believe in. And I always have, but it was cool to see it like in entertainment form on a television screen. So I don't know, that's a good place to maybe leave that conversation and think about that today. Think about the choices that you are making every day that you are responsible for in your marriage, in your friendships, in your job, with your personal health. I know that sugar and alcohol, probably not great. I make the choice to eat them and drink them. And when you know your choices, you're aware of them, you have more autonomy over your life. Same thing with my boyfriend. He struggles with his job because it is very taxing. It's very laborious. Josh, I'm sure you feel that too, right? Your delivery job when you drive beer around Cincinnati as the cold beer guy, it's very taxing, I bet. But you make the choice to work there. My boyfriend, you wake up, and I said it because he loves to come home and talk about his job, and I am as somebody that loves to listen and help people grow through things in their brain and what's going on. Like being in my orbit's like being in a think tank. I'm like, all right, come in, come sit down, like get a case of beer, get a joint, get a cigarette, get a soda water, get whatever you need, come sit, let's talk, let's figure it out, right? And he comes home and think tanks with me almost every day. And this kind of relates back to the backpack episode, which you can get caught up on. I try not to carry his backpack for him, but what I do say is, guess what? You have the autonomy over your life. Isn't that the good news? You have a choice that you can make every day on what you want your life to look like. So, and it's not easy. And some of these choices just need to be very small. Like, for instance, I had said, I am making the choice to gaslight myself that on the day of April 15th, when my last paycheck hits and I have no stable income after that, I'm going to celebrate because I am making a choice that the universe is going to give me what I need. You know what I'm saying? The choices, it started up here. This is something I'm saying up here. There's no, I have no evidence. I don't know. So comment or send me a message. I don't know. Do you like that? Did you enjoy it? I'm sorry that my light went out on my camera. I mean, this is live radio, podcasting, television, entertainment. We just got to keep it moving. I told you I would land on and also I would love to know what your show was that cut you, not that this cut me to my core, but now it has left a big open hole in my life. What show was that for you? And do you have any recommendations on something that I should watch next? Please comment below or send me a DM. Lastly, I did say something about April Fools. So that same boyfriend of mine is obsessed with Facebook Marketplace, which we could do an episode on tomorrow. And he wants to buy a mini truck. And I told him, I said, well, there's no reason for us to have for him to have this. I'm a potter. I live within my means, but I'll entertain it. And I said, well, I can help you look into figuring out if you really want this truck, what we would do with it. Because in my head, we need a plan. We need, ideas. We're not in a phase of life where we just go buy the things that we want. That's coming, but it's not right now. And he's like, are you April Foolsing me? I said, no. So that's my silly April Fool's joke. There are some topics that I want to chit chat about throughout the week. First date stories. Is your partner or someone in your life obsessed with Facebook Marketplace? Have they purchased something of value? Those are the 2 or 3 topics that are going to come throughout the rest of the week. So if you have any insight on any of them, please feel free to message me. I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for inviting me into your life and to the places that you love. I'll see you right back here tomorrow.